Is anybody there?
Why do you sound like a ghost? It sounds like you're falling off of a building.
I'm falling off the building. Welcome to the Olympian Table. Please like and subscribe.
Now you almost sound like an echo instead.
Turn on notifications.
Someone brought up a good point and said, why do all ghosts dressed in like the Victorian era?
Ghost?
Yeah.
Why do all?
I think
Do you know what? That's a good point.
You've never
Let's
seen
start.
like
Let's start with that.
That's a good point, then. Do you know a movie? I've never been into the the Addams Family thing, but that latest movie, that what was it called, Wednesday or something?
Oh, the show, yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, people really like that movie or that show.
It was entertaining, and I don't think it was scary, but it was entertaining.
I think that has to do with the pictures and how, back in like the 1900s, they didn't really take pictures, and when they did, half of them were with people that were already dead. Did y'all know that?
What?
They would pose people in the 1900s and have the family take picture with their dead loved one.
I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
No, I know that a lot of times the reason that they all look so angry is because it took so long to take the picture. So.
Well, when they were dead, there wasn't much choice. I mean, they wasn't going to be jumping around dancing.
Google the pictures of whenever people were dead back in the 1900s.
So crazy. Oh my God.
Well, they didn't get very many memories of them, and they didn't take pictures often, because that was not something that was really available then.
They even put them in a frame to make sure they didn't move. Are we ready yet?
Yeah, we're. Yeah.
Are we ready to rock the go? Here we are talking about dead people, and I'm like, okay, can we start this show?
Are you worried that that's what we're going to do? You see, we were going to weekend at Bernie's you for the podcast.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. They can see you now.
They can see you. Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Olympian Table. Sorry for all this positivity that we've got starting off. But basically, welcome to the Olympian Table. I've got Courtney with me, my long-time friend, short-time friend, whatever friend she is. Basically, we're going to talk about what we're all getting into as of tomorrow is Thanksgiving. So, Courtney put this into our chat, which I thought was pretty interesting because in England, we do not celebrate Thanksgiving. Our celebration is basically based all around Christmas. Now, I like Christmas as it is in Europe because the majority of things close Christmas Eve and they don't open till about January the 2nd, and we get to play for a week and eat for a week.
That's a long time of everything being shut down.
It really is, but we don't have Thanksgiving over here. You make more of Thanksgiving because basically you stuff yourself as much as you can on Thanksgiving Day, and then you burn off all them calories as much as you can on Black Friday by shoving one another and having riots in stores and shops and everything else just to burn off them calories, and then you've got Saturday and Sunday as well.
Do you think it's really going to be that bad this time around since, inflation and everything else?
I do.
Do you think there's going to be as many people shopping?
Absolutely.
Think so?
I really do. I think, what does the average American do? Come on. They want something, what do?
Put it on credit.
Exactly right. If they want it, they get it. It's consumerism at its best. It's not good, in my opinion, for the economy to put everything on credit, but that's just consumerism, capitalism. Capitalism and consumerism go together.
So tell me, what's your favorite for Thanksgiving? Do you like the food
or
go shopping?
Are we talking about the food or are we talking about the entertainment?
Entertainment as far as how? What do you mean by entertainment? Like parades and stuff? Or are you talking about being around your family?
No, I'm not into the entertainment thing. My perfect Thanksgiving is very boring. I still come into work for maybe 1 or 2 hours just to make sure everything's okay.
No, you don't.
I do. I do.
It's coming in tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, just to come in to make sure, like I came in yesterday or the day before and somebody had left the door open for one of our offices. So,
It wasn't me, was it?
probably,
Here?
but I won't blame you. But, you know, so no, I always come in just to, you know, or whether I'm working at home doing something or whatever, but I do. While my wife prepares the lunch, because if I stay at home while she's preparing the lunch, then I've got to cook, and I don't want to do that. So I'd rather work than cook or clean.
I was going to say about Black Friday, I think it's going to be scary for the stores, only because there's a trend because of lovely TikTok where teenagers are now going in groups of, 10, whatever. They get a group of their friends.
And they go in and they raid the store
and they're shoplifting.
Shoplifting?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's a big problem.
But you know what? On Black Friday would be perfect because there's usually big box. You don't put it in sacks, and you just walk out.
Exactly.
It'd be so easy to shoplift. Well, I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to say that.
Don't give people ideas. We are not here to give people ideas on how to commit crimes in Houston.
Courtney advice. Courtney's advice segment.
The
But
thing I
that's
want
what
to talk
you're
about
doing
at
now.
Thanksgiving. What's your favourite part of Thanksgiving?
For me, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but I just enjoy the time with the family. We usually, I don't think we're going to do it this year since my husband had surgery, but we usually try to go camping for the weekend because it's usually really good weather.
And it's empty, right?
It's beautiful weather today. Although Kay says it's winter, I don't. I think it's beautiful
Okay, well,
weather.
it's winter for like California and Texas. It's cold,
It's cold in California.
technically.
I think it's perfect. I think it was perfect.
For
weather.
California, isn't it like put on your poofy jackets whenever it's like 50 degrees?
That's
Poofy.
why I'm wearing a hoodie today.
Poofy.
A poofy
A
jacket.
big poofy jacket.
A
I
big
almost
poofy
came
jacket.
with a poofy jacket today, and I was like, no, they're gonna make fun of me.
It's like 50 degrees.
In all
Let's pull out
fairness,
the gloves.
I prefer winter fashions. You know, coming up through ice skating, I prefer winter fashions than summer fashions anyway.
I do too.
Apart from seeing women in bikinis, but you know, you're not going to see much of that. Well, actually, that'd be interesting in the winter.
Have you-
That's a trend.
Have you ever seen
What is?
people go snowboarding in the bikinis?
Women in bikinis in the
That's
winter?
exactly what I was gonna say.
What's that?
What Courtney just said.
What?
Snowboarding or skiing in bikinis.
Oh no, that.
But you know
It's
what?
a trend.
Usually, have you ever went skiing or snowboarding?
No, but I might take it up if that's the case. If wherever I know where that's going on.
When you're there, the sun is reflecting directly off of that snow. It actually feels pretty hot.
Wow.
Like you get pretty warm.
I mean, when we've gone skiing in the past, we went skiing in Colorado, and I've been skiing in Utah. I've got to be honest. You know, we had an all-in-one ski suit, and it got after a time you feel pretty warm.
And you can
feel
get sunburnt so easily with that the sun reflecting off the snow.
Bouncing off.
Mm-hmm.
Steven, take a look. I'm not showing it on the podcast because I don't want us to get demonetized. But it's a legit trend. It's
People skiing in bikinis. I said it as a joke.
no, it's
No, that's been a thing for a long time.
for a long time.
Even whenever I was a kid and I went snowboarding and skiing,
Wow.
I saw that before.
That's sad in a way, but there you go.
It's weird.
For an old man like me
I'll-
to be skiing down a slope and see that,
Hey, it might make you go faster.
I'd be in shock. I need to keep up with that young lady.
Hey, it's all great until you fall.
Right. You get road rash.
It's not all you'd get, I tell you.
It'd be cold.
Yeah. So let's talk about the food. What's your favourite part of a Thanksgiving dinner, or do you not have a Thanksgiving dinner?
I usually just cook whatever. I have never actually cooked a turkey myself before.
What?
Okay.
I'm gonna use Laura's.
But that's for religious reasons. I
But you know
we're not
what?
getting into it much.
I might start doing it with my coworker's recipe. That's so easy. You know, it only
You were
takes
talking
a
about
few.
the turkey
10
last
hours.
week. That turkey,
10 hours.
that turkey last week. We did, just so everybody knows, we did a bit of a Thanksgiving potluck, and Laura, who's not with us today because is she sick today?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's sick. And basically, it's that turkey that she did last week. That's what it is.
It was amazing.
It was an amazing turkey. It was an absolutely amazing turkey. It was turkey, then she puts butter on it, and then she puts bacon on top of that again. Mm-hmm. All the things that you don't want to eat are there in one meal. Then it was brilliant.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I like the Brussels sprouts and the green beans and everything else. But
I always cook Brussels sprouts, so that's kind of a normal thing in my house.
It's interesting. You know, Brussels sprouts are like coming up. They said, because you remember when everyone hated Brussels sprouts?
yeah,
like
the Brussels sprouts is one of the most healthiest vegetables you can eat.
It is, and somebody said the Brussels sprouts marketing team has to be the best marketing team ever now because everybody's eating it. Like, you go to a restaurant, you get crispy Brussels sprouts, you get bacon Brussels sprouts, of course.
Ever tried them stir fried? They're the best stir fried.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah.
I usually put garlic and butter with mine.
I use Brussels sprouts. I use what do you call them? Snow peas.
Sugar snaps.
Yeah. What do you call them?
Sugar snaps.
Sugar snaps. I call them snow peas. And then runner beans. And it's really good. It's really good. So the only thing I'm not really over keen on is stuffing because of the amount of carbs. But anyway,
I love stuffing.
Let's talk about it. Have you ever wondered why we celebrate Thanksgiving on the 4th Thursday in November? Turns out that's not always been the case. Christmas shopping is a big reason why we celebrate Thanksgiving when we do. It all started in 1789 when President George Washington declared November 26th as a national day of public thanksgiving, and the tradition continued with presidents announcing each year when Thanksgiving would be held. By the time President Abraham Lincoln issued his Thanksgiving Declaration, celebrating on the last Thursday in November was pretty standard. Then came Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1939.
That's whenever
November had 5 Thursdays. Shop owners begged the president to move Thanksgiving up to give more people time for Christmas shopping. FDR caved the request, but not everyone was happy. Some governors insisted their states hold Turkey Day on the traditional date, resulting in a national split, with more than half of the states celebrating on the last Thursday of the month. A couple of states, including Texas, celebrate both.
Yep. So.
Well, that's a typical example of Texas being hard-nosed.
So now, since 1941, the law has been that the 4th Thursday in November is Thanksgiving.
Right.
So that's the real reason we have a president to assign Thanksgiving.
It's an important job.
That's why they pardon turkeys.
But you know, well, the other part.
You know what? Every president should have their be able to declare a new holiday, so we can have more holidays off.
But you know, the other thing that's very different from here to what they have in Europe. Over here, you have turkey and Thanksgiving, and then for Christmas, the traditional food is ham.
Yeah.
In England, in Europe, it's normally turkey in Christmas. Well, England anyway, in the UK, it's normally turkey. My grandmother cooked the best Christmas turkey.
Oh no, I just like smoked turkey legs.
She would.
Go to the fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you got to wait till February for that.
I don't know what they're cooking
rodeo.
those turkey, like what they're feeding those turkeys though, because those turkey legs are huge.
They are, especially for the fair.
The turkey leg hut in Houston, are they open on Christmas Day for Thanksgiving for?
Probably not, but I'm pretty sure they do like a turkey, like they probably give have a turkey meal or something. Because
just so everybody knows, the turkey leg hut is a famous
Houston
traditional place where they sell turkey legs, and these turkey legs have got stuffing and flavors and tastes and everything.
Every time I go, if I want to go to the turkey leg hut, you have to bring friends, and you just have to call and do a reservation. You just call ahead and do a reservation.
It's just nuts.
I have never even heard of that.
You've never heard of the turkey leg hut?
The turkey leg hut?
It's like the most. It's literally when I have people come visit, they're like, I want to go to the turkey leg hut.
It's famous. And the other famous place that I've been to once is the Breakfast Club downtown.
The Breakfast Club too.
And if you want to get into the breakfast, it's basically they cook breakfast in the morning, a huge breakfast. And I will tell you that I waited to get into the breakfast club one Saturday morning. I think I waited like an hour and a half.
Yeah, you can't go
nuts.
on.
It goes outside and around the back.
Man, I am looking at pictures of this food and it looks just amazing.
Yeah, this is the busy times. I like to, whenever I go to a restaurant, I always look at the busy times. So you can see like on Wednesdays, it's not too bad, whatever. Then we get to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's horrific. There's hundreds of people that are there, and it's basically like a club. It's like now, I wouldn't say club, but it's like, it's so famous that that's where people want to go.
And it's a black-owned business, isn't it?
It is. And people really like it. So this is what their food looks like.
Was that a food truck?
They have a food truck too,
Yeah.
from what I'm looking at.
Oh my God. Okay.
So Turkey Leg Hut and the breakfast.
They have 4 food trucks.
Jeez.
That's how much they've expanded. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So anyway, let's move on. We're going to talk about a Texas mom that was convicted after posing as a teenage daughter at her daughter's middle school.
Yeah. So here we go.
You have video of that?
Yeah, that's a video of her.
How did you expect to get away with this?
She's
So
keep
keep in mind that this was during COVID too. So she had a mask on, so I mean,
What was she trying to do? Increase her daughter's grades?
just showing that the schools don't really pay attention and how easy it would be for somebody to just come in there.
And she got away with it, but she recorded it. So
Middle school, Casey Garcia donned a yellow marble hoodie and even dyed her hair darker in order to look more like her daughter, a student in 7th grade. Then she says using her daughter's student ID number, she went to school.
I then said hello to the principal, and then I spoke to another faculty member, and then I went to all my classes. I even ate lunch without a mask.
Garcia says teachers were more concerned about the fact that she had her phone out and that it took until the last class of the day for someone to recognize she wasn't her daughter.
I wanted to see if I could make it the entire day without anybody noticing. And I'd stay up until 7th period. I think that's a very long day for a 30-year-old.
On her YouTube channel, Garcia says she was not intending to embarrass the school.
Well, I finally got caught. I told them that I would go to the principal's office.
But to test campus security and shed light on a bigger issue.
We have a problem. There have been one too many mass shootings in schools, elementary schools, colleges, high schools. That is disgusting to think of, that this could have been prevented just by putting metal detectors and
I want to see what her daughter looks like.
Yes, sir. How can I help?
El Paso County Sheriff's deputies arrested Garcia 2 days after she posted the video of her at school, an interaction that she also recorded and posted online.
What made you guys come down? Besides the viral video.
They sent us a call. You have a traffic warrant, so that's what we're here with.
Besides the unrelated traffic warrant, Casey Garcia was charged with suspicion of criminal trespassing and tampering with government records. She has been released after
Government
posting bond.
records?
In a statement to KTSM, the San Elizario Independent School District Superintendent said, while there was a breach in security by an individual associated as a parent with the school, we want to assure you that our security measures are being reviewed and evaluated.
That just shows you how much teachers care.
No,
Not every
see,
teacher,
I
but
disagree. I disagree with the whole thing. She's doing it for clicks. To me, she's doing it for clicks. Because she mentioned the name. Oh, are you here because my video went viral?
no, but she's saying that.
I understand the point that she's trying to make, but the schools are so underfunded anyway.
it's true.
And
I think that's kind of the point that she was trying to make, but I agree.
But there's a better way to make your point.
What would be a better way?
I think that she was asking that though because she was saying, would you guys have even come if the video hadn't gone viral? Like that, I think that's why she was like, is there
Once
another
she's
video
trespassing,
coming?
all right, and whether it's a possible shooter or whatever or not, one, they're trespassing, but hopefully they'll take him out before it gets to that point. I agree with what she said about the metal detectors. There should be metal detectors in schools, all right, but it's not necessarily a school problem, it's a social problem. And the other thing is, and I will tell you this because my wife is a teacher, that the teachers' hands are tied behind their back through bureaucracy. They can't put their hands on students. They're not allowed, there's some things they can't say to the students. It's a very
You got to be careful with what you do.
they have to be, because if not, guess what? They're discriminating against somebody, or they're not treating people like they should do. And it's the teachers, now it's the teachers that are being scrutinized all the time. And the teachers are scared to do anything because of the repercussions that can come from that. I mean, a lot of the teachers that have been teachers for 25, 30 years, and they've got their pensions coming up, they don't want to, be in a position where they lose their pension because they've been fired for an unethical thing. Now, in all fairness, what people need to look at, what she did, all right, she's got a point, okay? You can always improve, and I agree, but I think it's more of a Texas problem or a gun problem in the US.
I had talked to a retired policeman not too long ago, and they're actually starting to hire in some schools just, either an off-duty cop or something like that, full-time, just to sit at the school and make sure that no active gunmen come through the door. That's their only job.
But I don't think...
When before I got transferred to private school in California, I think this is something that's really interesting. Because when I used to go to school in the hood, they used to have a police officer, like you said, on campus all the time. And then when I moved to the private school, it was like so safe that there was like no need for it. And then maybe when I moved to Texas, and I came to high school in Texas, I went to private school for a little bit, but then I moved back to a school in the hood, or kind of. But then again, it was just like fully policed again. So it was just interesting because it's like, higher quality schools or, in better districts don't feel the need to. But now it's completely changed to where, like you said, Courtney, almost every school needs to have like a police officer or some type of metal detector. Whereas like when
Somebody that needs to be
see,
trained for that
this is what-
sort of situation.
One of the things when people say about the whole gun control thing, all right, is there is a mental health problem in every country.
Mm-hmm.
That we have more shootings and more school shootings than any other country.
Yeah, it's just because the weapon is so accessible. I mean, you can go to the gun show. There was a kid who went around the gun show. He was, 16, 17 years old? I think during COVID, he went around and they don't ID you or anything like that to get into the gun show. They don't ID you when you're making purchases at the gun show. Actually, you get rewarded. They're like, oh, you're young, you're taking advantage of your Second Amendment right. They're proud that they're teenagers purchasing guns. So
who made it a thing to go into schools and start shooting up? Like, when did this become a thing?
I will say...
They said around 2004, 2005.
Sandy Hook shooting.
Right. What basically happened was, I watched I read an article about this, that apparently what happened in 2004, 2005, that's when they opened up the whole, the laws changed to how many bullets you could have in your chamber.
But
And that's when it really started to
Well,
change, because
look
a
at
lot
this-
of gun experts even say that really what should change is the amount of bullets that you can have in your chamber, because for that, if you've only got 6 bullets in your gun, then they've got to reload, or they've got to have an extra cartridge to put in, and that gives more time for the police to get to where the problem is.
But look at these statistics. Just, I want you to take a guess. How many school shootings have we had in the United States since like about 2008?
2008,
Mm-hmm.
I would have said 600, 700.
4,000.
Oh, good Lord. 288.
288.
We're the number one. The next one is Mexico. Want to guess how many school shootings they've had?
67.
No,
Want to take a guess?
I would have said 25, 30.
8.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
it's
So
like
just-
it's
not
so
funny, it's just
ridiculous.
Do you know?
Yes.
Do you know? Hey, I understand the argument why
Just
guns
school
are
shootings, not
different.
mass shootings.
No, just school shootings. Just school shootings,
Do
but
you know-
still, I mean, that's
So
Let me just say to you, because to me, and I researched this not long ago. There was 8 police officers that were shot last year. All right, that were killed. Sorry, not shot, killed. All right, in the whole of UK last year. All right, there was 26,000 stabbing incidents, but there was less deaths. Over here, I mean, I live in a bit of a, not the best neighbourhood, but I like the neighbourhood because it's close to everywhere where I've got to get to, and it's very convenient. And plus, I've got myself a nice big lot of land. But the truth be known, I mean, I can understand why people have guns. I'm not saying, I know a house that's got 2 AR-15s in the house. Why do you need 2 AR-15s?
I think the problem with the whole school shootings and the mass shooting thing and all of that, I think someone put it, and it's like this, it's genuinely the saddest quote that I've ever heard in my entire life. Because remember Columbine, that was probably the first big school shooting that we had. It was the Columbine, the 2 kids. But then Sandy Hook was probably the next one, and someone said that when it became, because we didn't do anything about it, like you said, we changed the law to the amount of clips that you could have. But they said that once it became okay to kill kindergartners, that it just ended up not mattering anymore about school shootings. Like once there was no change in gun laws or anything like that, that's when everything, it was just like, okay, so that's one of the reasons that
but politically,
it's on the rise.
the biggest concern that I have is how people say and have been sued for saying that Sandy Hook, Columbine, and all the others are conspiracies and have never ever taken place.
there is a lot of conspiracy.
That's
stuff out
the
there.
saddest thing that has ever happened to me in America, when people have said, oh, it's never happened. It was all a conspiracy.
I have some conspiracies about Sandy Hook, but it doesn't change the fact that a lot of people lost their lives. A lot of people say that the Holocaust never happened too. It's just like there's like a huge group of people that say that the Holocaust never happened and that it was fake. So it's just like people are just gonna make up conspiracies about everything.
You want to take a guess? The top 5 states for the most shootings?
Texas, number 1.
California.
California is number 1.
Yeah.
Texas is number 2. Any other guesses?
Florida.
That's number
Yeah,
4.
I would have said Florida.
Got two.
Mississippi or Alabama?
Ohio.
Mm-mm.
Oh, then I don't know.
North
What is
Carolina?
it? Nevada.
Illinois is number 3,
Oh, of course.
and Michigan is number 5.
Oh my God, I'm so dumb. Of course. Of course. Chicago and Detroit. Of course.
Yeah.
Like,
There you
I was
go.
just thinking about the mass shooting aspect, but when you think about the 2 most dangerous cities in the world used to be Chicago and Detroit. So,
Right.
and then LA.
Anyway.
But I do want to show you just one more video because you're talking about your wife being a teacher. This is a student. This is one thing that I mean, with them not being able to do anything and not being able to put their hands on children and things like that, you know, whatever. But
You're gonna show.
this teacher took away this kid's
switch,
his switch.
and that's what the kid does.
And
To the
he-
teacher?
Yes, that is the teacher, and he's 6'6".
Goodness.
He took away the switch.
It's a little video game
It's a video
console
game.
that you can carry around, you know, and play in class, but she took it away because obviously it's a distraction. And I'm going to play it for one more second. But yeah.
Dude, and she's like out cold there already, and he's still hitting her.
Yeah, he's still like stomping my hair and things like that. And that's what he did. And
Now let me ask you a question.
he's 6'6".
Let me ask you a question.
That's a big boy.
What do you put that action down to? Do you put it down to lack of parenting? Or do you put it down to what?
I think
So when they're young, it's lack of parenting, but you start coming into your own and you make your own decisions.
when you're a teenager,
Yeah. And although your childhood might
change and have different-
make a lot of those things easier to, you know, make those choices, he made that choice. That was a
Yeah.
bad choice.
I think that they said that he had like some slight mental problems. or
Oh,
something.
here we go again. You see,
Yeah.
this is what
But-
this is what blows me nuts.
I think that what it is that I blame the internet. To be honest, I do, just because of the fact that kids have so much access to adult things, and kids have less respect for adults these days because they feel as though they're on equal playing field as adults these days. They think that, like, especially if you're not parented correctly, if you're left alone a lot and things like that, you're on TikTok, you know, kids don't even look like kids anymore. Like, teenage girls do not look like teenage girls. Teenage boys don't look like teenage boys. And so they feel as though they're on equal playing ground with adults. And so they don't have the same respect as we had when we were growing up, you know? Like, for us, you know, people used to hit people with paddles and things like that when we were growing up, you know, for teenagers. I don't, you know.
Now we gotta hurt with our words.
Now you have to hurt with your words, and now you have to take away the switch, and he didn't, you know, he's upset because he didn't respect that decision. But I do think that a lot of it is because they have so much access to adult things. And
Yeah,
adult
I just think
now.
a lot of it is
Care.
because a lot of the discipline that the teachers once had has been taken away
Mhm.
from the teachers, and you know, because the parents have basically turned around and said, you know, you shouldn't be doing this with my children, da 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 da, and they're not doing it at home. And I do think, you know, what I think is it Denzel Washington or a famous black actor said that, you know, the problem is that with a lot of African Americans.
But would you say the same thing? I know that, but would you say the same thing if it was a white kid that did it? I don't think it's about that. I genuinely think.
I
that
really
it
didn't
is.
even look at the
No,
color of his
I
skin.
don't. I think-
Yeah, I
I don't think I would.
Well, he was wearing a hoodie and
Because-
everything. He was black.
because
Yeah, he's black.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Okay.
yeah, but basically, I think in the event, I'd look into the back. I think you need to look into the background of that particular kid. But you know, it's like you say, it's a mental health issue. If it's a mental health issue, then how has that individual been treated? Have they had access?
But I think that I don't agree with that statement with Denzel Washington. Like, I can agree to some extent with that, but what if you find out that he had a 2-parent household? I think that you should take that out of your mind, because I think it's one of those things that is a bit of a stereotype that black children don't have their fathers around. Because for me,
What's the statistics on it?
Let's see.
I've got an idea what the statistics are on it. What are the statistics for African American families for single parents?
So,
You know what? Single parents is
Because I
more of a thing
think,
now
and
than
I
it's
don't-
ever been.
yeah.
And I don't think it's the African Americans' fault. I think society has let down African Americans.
This is, I don't know.
I think society has let down African Americans
I do as well, but I can't.
through the court systems and everything else. I think it's actually let them down. If they're caught with, I don't know how much marijuana, because I've never been into that or whatever, then they get jail time for it. It's not the same case if it's a white guy. That's what I've been led to believe anyway. How much of the prison population is African American?
I would like to say a lot, but let's see. Verify that you are human.
Let me have a look.
So,
I'll give you a few statistics while y'all are looking that up. So for America, approximately 18.3 million children live without a father in the home. So that's about 1 in 4 children. 80% of the single parent homes are led by single mothers. Children from single parent families are twice as likely to suffer from mental health and behavioral problems than living with married parents. They're 33% less likely to repeat a class if they have 2 parents, and 43% more likely to get A's in school. In a study of 56 school shootings, only 10 of the shooters, so that's 18%, were raised in a stable home with both biological parents.
Well, people in prison, it's 37% of the prison population are black.
so I found one, but this doesn't say in this article.
And my opinion is it's because, it was Denzel Washington, I think, that made that comment about, it's very difficult to be brought up, because if your father's in prison, then the street ends up being your father.
Well, it's not only that. If you have a single parent, I know, with my husband, I get a lot of help when I'm working, but unfortunately, these single parent homes, the single parent is usually working twice as hard.
And especially today, now, mum and dad have got 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So this is an older article, but I have one, and it says that from the United States, this is definitely older, because all children, it says 70% have a 2-parent household, and 21% out of all live with their mother only. This is very, very old though. This is like 2007. And then for black children, 42% have 2 parents and 46% have mother only. So I think, but the reason that I say that that's an unfair demographic in statement is because on the other end, I can say that, what do you say about kids who live with a single mother who commit mass shootings? Because 95% of mass shooters are white males.
And I agree with that.
So, but you don't say the same thing about the white men who live in a single parent household.
But what we was talking about was the black kid that beat up the teacher.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like,
But with actual shootings, more white kids are involved in school shootings than anything else.
I know, but the question that I was asking is because you brought up the fact that he might not have both parents, and so
Correct.
what,
and that's where, and I do think that that's a possible.
But with the mass shootings, you don't bring that up with the fact that also, for the most part, the people who commit mass shootings also typically only have one parent. And those happen to be white people. So I'm just saying, like, I don't agree with that demographic because...
But how do you know that's a fact?
She just stated...
Did you say that one parent?
Yeah, out of... Which it didn't say the race, so I can't tell you whether for sure what the race was, but out of the...
No, let's be honest, it is. They're white.
I don't know what race. It doesn't say what race. It just says out of the so many shootings, 18% actually had a stable and 2-parent household.
Okay.
The rest of them were all either an unstable household or single parent.
Right, so
and
that backs up my case.
No, because then when you put the comparison with the fact that typically most mass shootings are committed by white males, then those two statistics...
I've just given you direct facts, which is the fact that 37% that are incarcerated are African Americans.
Right.
They've had a rough deal. All right, the way they are charged, the way they're put up, and everything else. And I think I was watching an article last night. Did you know that redlining was still happening up till 2014?
Do you know what redlining is?
Yeah, I have no idea what
redlining is. When people were saying, okay, white people live in this area, black people live in another area. That was happening until 2014.
Yeah, it still happens in Boston. It still happens in Boston.
It's not supposed to.
Yeah, it's like an unspoken thing. They took it away, but it's an unspoken thing where nobody ever moved.
Right. I was watching a program about racism last night about the 10 most racist states and cities and stuff.
Yeah, Boston is number one.
Boston wasn't on it, actually, one of them like that.
That's interesting. I think Boston has changed to be pretty liberal recently.
And do you know where the Ku Klux Klan started?
Arkansas?
No.
Tennessee?
It did actually, yes.
Arkansas.
You are correct.
Yeah.
But also it was very strong in a place called Vidor in Texas, which isn't far from Houston. Did you know that?
I'll stay away from Vidor. There's a thing, because people were going there, it's called the most racist town in America. And it's in Arkansas. And
What's the name of the town?
oh gosh, I can't remember.
Because
there's a sign that when you first go into there, it's called White is White Radio or something like that.
I seen it. That was the video. That was the video that I watched last night.
Yeah.
There's a sign that basically says that.
Yeah.
And there was one black guy that lived there that was inviting as many black people as he could, and said, you know, we're not going to put up with this.
It is. It's not even. They don't even have the.
Oh man, I didn't realize. It's Harrison, Arkansas.
That's it. Yes, it's Harrison.
Is a town of only 13,000 people, 94% white and 0.6% black.
Absolutely, that's the one. Harrison. It was called Harrison.
Yeah.
Yes.
Through the KKK stuff, but
In Arkansas.
a lot of black people have gone there, and actually a lot of them are like, yeah, you know, it is kind of, but the town next to it, they say, because that's actually where the KKK headquarters are, is the town next to it.
I'm seeing a lot of things on that they were trying to change that. So yeah. I really think that
there was a group of people that got together that basically, you know, wanted to change the reputation of the city.
Yeah, the mayor is really trying really hard because he's really upset about it, and a lot of people say that there's an estate. It's the next town over that the people that live there say, where the KKK headquarters, like the original leader of the KKK, he lives there, and so they changed their mind, and they're like, hey, it's not us, it's them, but a lot of them just happen to live here. but please, don't believe that. And so the mayor is trying to fight really hard to change that.
Yeah, and there was a black guy that was sort of, commenting that at times it's been scary. Anyway, let's move on. Because we don't, but we're sort of, it was idea of making this short. Then here we are. The last item that we're going to talk about today is in Houston. A hiker was missing more than a week and found safe after, where was she, in the Big Bend?
She was in the Big Bend National Park. So she's actually from Houston, and she survived out there by herself for 8 days. That's a long time. Huh?
How did she survive?
That's what I want to know. But I think this just came out. They didn't have a lot of specifics on how she survived, but she was still walking after those 8 days. So I don't know how resourceful she was, but that's a long time. She had to have water.
Well, I've never been to Big Bend, and I never intend to go there. But is it a desert? Is it dry?
It's where the mountains are. It's right by the border. I've never been, but I've heard.
The border of
Mexico?
Okay.
Yeah,
so
Mexico and Texas.
South of where we are. Or is it west? It's west, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I'm really bad with Northeast.
No.
Something I'm not good at. But this park is huge, and it usually will get very hot during the day. But if you're in the middle of the mountains, it drops, quite a bit at night. So you can get hot temperatures during the day and like freezing temperatures at night.
They found her now, and she can get some Thanksgiving dinner.
So, yeah, they found her, and that's pretty good that they even, I'm surprised that they looked for so long, but I guess she went, I don't know. I would never go hiking by myself unless it's some little short trail that I know.
Herself?
Yeah, she went by herself. So.
Well, that's a bit silly.
There's, I dated a guy who went to Big Bend, and it's right on the border, and she probably did get the water because there's water. I'm looking for pictures.
It's the Rio Grande is right there.
Yeah, so she probably got the water from the Rio Grande, and she was probably drinking that. But there's
eating frogs.
For anybody that ever goes hiking, you should always bring a backpack with you with some survival stuff, first aid stuff. But go on Amazon, go to the store. There's something called the Life Straw, so that if you do find water, you can drink it and it'll clean it. I always go hiking with that if I plan on hiking somewhere big.
No, the way I hike is through Holiday Inn.
You're like, here's my workout for today.
Or something like that. I'm okay with that.
There's yeah, but you can. That's actually how a lot of immigrants get over here.
Through what, Big Bend?
Yeah, because
I wouldn't doubt
there's
it.
no fence or anything right there. And there's a little. I remember because there was a picture. He showed me a picture, and it's just like, hey, take one of these. A little wire, little thing. Take one of these. It costs $1. Please donate and put $1 in here, and we'll come get it. And that's just what they do. They walk across the river and they put money in to donate or whatever, and then they come back. But that's how a lot of them get over it. I don't know if I'm ruining their plans or whatever by saying it on air, but
I'm sure people have seen it.
Easy. It's really interesting. I'm like, it's kind of funny because the whole wall thing, but it's like they just go through the national park, they make a couple extra bucks, and that's how.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
interesting.
Let's wrap up the show for the time being. We hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving tomorrow. Stay healthy, and we'd like to my name, as I said, I'm Steve Williams. I'm host of the show. I'd like to thank everybody. Please like, subscribe, and share, and turn on notifications. And also like to thank Courtney. Courtney, how do we get hold of you?
Yeah, you can email me at courtney@lspmortgage.com.
So you need a good loan and some good rates, and you're looking to buy, sell, or do an equity pullout, or whatever you need to do. If you're looking to get into investing, you can contact myself or Courtney. You can contact me. through C21 Olympian TX, or you could find us at Century 21 Olympian just on Google. And you can go Google us, and my staff will put you in contact with me. So if you're looking to become an agent, an investor, we would love to hear from you. For anybody that has any comments, we'd even love to even see your comments in the chat. That's pretty important to us, to discuss any of these little touchy points that we spoke about today. We would love to hear from you, get your comments, see what you think about the young gentleman that decided to take his switch back. I guess
He didn't even get it back. He just did it to be a terrible kid.
Wow. Anyway, but until then, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. We'll see you around 10:30 next Wednesday. Have a good day.